Hi everyone, thanks for clicking through. Today I will be talking about one of my most prized possessions and probably the bag that gets the most admiration and discussions from all my girlfriends, and also a bag that gets a lot of questions like, what does it do? What does it fit? Why do you have it? Why did you buy such a small bag? Or, is it a decoration? And all these questions that frankly I just don't know how to answer. But today I just want to share what this bag fits and what I usually put in it, and also to talk a little bit about the story of how I got the bag and my experience with shopping at Hermes. I won't be editing this video because it's my very first YouTube video. I'm not a professional YouTuber. As you can tell, I'm filming in my living room, and it probably could be my last YouTube video, so I am just going to roll with it. I'm happy to answer any questions. I get a lot of questions from my girlfriends when they're going to Europe and they want to shop in Hermes. I'm always happy to help. I can't help you get a bag, but I can always share my experience with you. I don't live there and I don't have any connections there, but somehow I've always found a way to get a bag that I really like or really want. So yes, I would love to share my experience with you. But let's get started with this bag, and that's the reason why I'm making this video. Okay, so I'm gonna move my ottoman, this blue one, over here so you can see clearer of what I'm going to show you. Okay, perfect. So, this is the bag, for the box that the bag comes in. It's actually fairly small. If you compare it to my phone, this is an iPhone, what is it, 10s, and you could tell that it's not very big. It's about this big. So when I went to the store that day, I purchased this from the George V location in Paris. When I went to the store that day, I've dealt with that same essay maybe 2 or 3 times prior, and when I went that day, he was like, I'm really sorry, I don't think we have anything, but let me check. And when he came out with this box, it was wrapped in plastic paper, or plastics, not paper, just the plastic coverings, and he was hiding it like in between his arm like this, and he was like covering obviously the sticker of like the name of the bag. And I thought to myself, like, oh my god, he's gonna show me a clutch, or he's gonna show me some, I don't know, men's pouch or something. And he said, follow me. And we went upstairs into the room, and obviously that means it is something that people aren't supposed to see. So I'm going to shut up and open the box now. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to open it. So it's a fairly small box. It's got a little pillow in it. I'm gonna put this on the side for now. It's got a little pillow that looks like this in it, and then it's got another little book of things that explains, I guess, what you're supposed to do with it and such. But you don't really read these. Let me see what it's supposed to be about. I don't know. Okay, well, is there English or a language I could read? Probably is. 13th page is where it is. It says, thank you for purchasing, blah, blah, blah. This piece can last a lifetime if you know how to take care of it properly. Okay, well, it's just common sense. Protecting it from the bad weather, keep it away from bad influences. Okay, yeah, we don't need this. So I'm going to put this away. I pretend as if I've read it. So I'm going to put that away. I'm going to move the box. So now you know what box it comes in. Here comes the little guy. So yes, the dust bag is quite small. It's smaller than my other bags anyways. It comes in another little pouch for the strap. And then here it comes, the little princes that hail from, I don't know, yes, Paris. So this is an Hermès Mini Kelly 2, 20 centimeters in gold Epsom, palladium hardware. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about this. Anyways, it's a very small bag. And the interesting part about it, I guess, was when I purchased this, I went back to Paris again wearing it to see my essay, and he saw that I had put my phone in my pocket while I was wearing this as a crossbody, and then he immediately turned to his associates and said, you know, a bag is too small when someone has to put their phone in the pocket because it doesn't fit in the bag. And he is correct. So if you have a plus size phone, or from Apple or from, you know, any other manufacturers, it likely won't fit in the bag. I have tried to fit my 10S in it. I had to put it sideways. Anyways, we'll get to that point in a bit. But this is a pouch for the strap, and this is what the strap looks like. I have worn this a few times, so I've taken off all the plastics besides the one on the inside. But yes, the strap looks like this, and it goes on here on the sides. You can wear it crossbody. I found that, so recently I've lost a little bit of weight, but before, especially with winter coats and winter jackets, I found it a little bit too snug when I wear crossbody. I have seen people use the thicker straps that they made for Kelly 25s and up, and they use it on the 20s. I find that for me personally, the little hooks for those longer or wider straps is too big for this bag with my personal taste. But if you need a longer strap, that is probably the only way you can go about it. So I'm going to open this bag and show you the inside of the bag. So really, there's not much to it, only a little sort of card compartment. Sometimes I get lazy about switching from my wallets to my card holder, and I just throw all my cards into the card compartment, which is, I almost think that's why they made it, because of lazy people like us. So I can show you what will fit in it. Generally speaking, I hold a Bjorn wallet, so a compact Bjorn, and this Bjorn wallet does not fit in this bag. Well, it does fit, but once you put it in, it's almost impossible to close the front part. You see how, like, because it's too thick here. It's too thick on the side, and therefore it won't, this thing won't go into that thing. Wow, that is a great explanation. But it won't go in here. So essentially what you need to have is things that are below this height and are thin. So things like maybe your keys, and I have a huge chain, or yes, a bunch of keys. So when I go out with this, I usually have to revert to a small set of key, and then I take my car key off, and I just have to wear like this. I can't really afford to have any larger objects or keychains with me because it won't fit. So here, I will put these in. And then I have to switch from a wallet to likely a card holder. And so this is a Citi 4cc card holder or something like that, of the sort. I put it in, and sometimes I have like extra cards I want to put, and I have a Kelvy for it. I can fit that in as well. And then I've got my phone, which is a 10S, and this likely, well, what is that thing? Okay, this likely won't fit in the bag, and the reason why is because when you do put it in, it's not long enough, or it's not wide enough for the phone, and if you put it sideways, essentially you're distorting the bag and it won't close properly. So I have another phone here that is, I don't know which phone this is, but this is from like ages ago, and probably a 5 or 6 of the sort. It's much smaller. I think it's about the same size as a 10, regular 10. And I can fit it in the bag. So, if my phone, my wallet, and my keys, these are the 3 things I never forget when I leave my house. They do fit the bag properly. So as you can see, I'm gonna show you. I've got 2 card holders, a phone, and my small keys. And this way, when I close it like this, it does close. And then we could put up the belts, this, and voila. It does close, and I mean, it's a little bit heavy, but it does, I mean, it is a bag after all. It's not clutched like the pochette. So it does stand on its own as well. Fits quite a bit more than what people think. I do have to make sacrifices in terms of like what I can bring with me and what I cannot bring with me. So yes, that's what fits in this bag. So talking about the journey of getting the bag, I don't remember if I mentioned this yet, but I actually got the bag from the George V location in Paris, and the day that I went, and the Paris system is different than anywhere else in the world, and where the flagship store system is also different from the rest of the Paris store. I have gotten quite a few bags from the flagship store, but I think in recent years I haven't had much luck there, so I've started to build my relationship elsewhere, especially at the George V store. Unfortunately, my SA retired November last year, and he was such an amazing gentleman. We still keep in touch with personal emails, but my journey with him was such a wonderful and really, I guess, fulfilling experience. I know recent years, perhaps when you go to an Hermès store, you feel a little bit almost like, wow, this isn't a cheap object, but you're feeling like you're entering the store and you're playing a game with the sales associates of the brand, and you are having to play mind games, you're having to, do a lot of planning, and all for bags, all just for, yes, a bag. I didn't get that sort of feeling with him, and a disclaimer is that I am not the type of person to purchase items that I do not use or do not want just so I could hit this invisible quota of getting a bag. I know there have been a lot of different threads and different opinions on forums about, oh, if you want a $10,000 bag, you should buy things, non-leather products of $10,000 for them to even want to sell you a $10,000 bag. I have to say that is not my experience at all with all the Hermes stores in Paris. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I mean, I've bought one time in London, I bought in Lisbon as well. Like, I haven't received this sort of treatment, or this, I wasn't, this set of standard wasn't imposed on me. At least I didn't feel that it was, because I don't purchase anything that is of like extreme value that isn't something that I want. So when I purchased this Mini Cali 2, yes, I did deal with the same essay 2 or 3 times already, and every time I went back to him, I always bring with me the bag that he sold me the previous time. So it's almost like a sign of, hey, I'm not a reseller. Like, look, I'm using the bag that you sold me. Almost kind of building this trust and relationship. And previous to this bag, he sold me a Constance, a 24 Constance in black with a special buckle. And so I brought that back to see him twice or 3 times, and he presented me with this bag. And one thing that I feel a lot of first time or new Hermès buyers have almost like anxiety entering the store because they don't know what to do, they don't know what to say, and frankly there's nothing that you have to do or say. You just have to be yourself. You have to be personable, just like any other human interactions and relationships. You can't be outstanding, wow, that is not the word. You can't be standoffish. Yes, you can be outstanding. Cannot be standoffish. Just someone that people would like and want to talk to, because you have to understand too, I have this conversation with my essay, is that there's so many people that just enter the store and all they want is the bag. And yes, like, we know, I mean, everybody, I think every time I enter an Hermes store, 90% of, or 95, I don't know, a majority of the people that are wandering around the store are all thinking about the same thing, the bags. And the 3 kinds of bags, the B or the K or the C. And how do you stand out from those people is you have to build a genuine relationship, and you might ask how, because I'm only probably ever going to see this person one time, or, but I think first impression obviously is important, but just displaying, genuine, almost like eagerness and a good understanding of the brand and of the system will make them a lot more comfortable in wanting to deal with you. I have seen a lot of customers, they enter Hermès stores and they think, they could just talk to the essays a certain way because they're the customers and they're here to spend, $10,000 on a bag. I'm sorry, there's a lot of people that are willing to do that, but not a lot of people that the essays will actually like and want to interact with. So that is sort of my takeaway of having to purchase Hermès bags for a couple of years now, and that I think what I take pride the most is that I haven't purchased any furnitures because I don't need them. I don't purchase high-end jewelries or watches just to make the quota so that I'm granted a bag. I haven't done anything like that because my money is hard-earned and I want to spend it on the items I truly want. So with this bag, I was actually presented with this bag first, and then I went down and picked out a Twilly with my essay, and I picked a blue one with some, and this is Jungle Love series, I believe, with some yellow or, I don't know, mustard color to pair with the gold. And then I picked out 2 more Twillies because I liked them. They were navy and white, like this. And that was my invoice. I didn't buy anything else. I didn't buy any exotic clutches I don't need. And I think, that is what it should be like. I know it's difficult. I've just gotten so many friends that are saying, hey, why isn't it working for me? And I've been to stores where they just shut me down, and they're mostly in North America, but I haven't encountered a similar problem in Europe, maybe just because I think one tip is when you enter the store in Paris, you probably should try to speak French first to greet them, instead of just being like, hello, do you speak English? You could be like, bonjour, je ne parle pas en français, je parle anglais, then they're kind of like, yeah, your French sucks, but okay, I'll help you. And then you build the relationship from there. And understand that, you know, some of my friends really don't like interacting with people, and that's totally okay. Like, I think that's fine. The best way, though, currently, it seems it's almost like making, entering the lottery system for the flagship store. If you don't know about that, you should look into it, since the flagship is actually the store that carries the most stock, especially if you don't have pre-existing relationships at other Hermes stores in Paris. Your best place to start is going to be at the flagship store. I would recommend purchase something small the day prior to your appointment, or just, you know, during your appointment or something, when the SA comes to you and says, for the flagship, this is exclusively for the flagship, on the day of your appointment or before, the day before, whichever it is, if you've never purchased in Paris, tell the SA that, hey, I'm looking for a bag, but first I'd like to look at some accessories, and then I'm looking for bags of these, and make your list very detailed, very clear. You could type them. I usually type them in my notes in my phone, and I show them the list, and I tell them I also want to pick out accessories that matches these bags in the colors, obviously. So let's say a wallet. So I want a black Birkin 25 with rose gold hardware, and I want to pick out a wallet that matches it. Then it gives them sort of a almost like an assurance of you will be looking at other stuff pairing with it, instead of just being like, hi, I am looking for a Kelly 25 in box leather. Like, everybody is looking for a Kelly 25. Everybody wants a Kelly 25. So what makes you stand out is the thought that goes into it, that shows in your list, and also the fact that, oh, you have thought about other products with Hermes, not just a bag. Even though they don't receive much commissions on any leather products, but at least it shows. And if you want to buy shoes, that's great. Tell him, hey, I also want to look at some shoes afterwards. They will introduce you to a shoe or an essay at the shoe section, because the leather specialist at the flagship store does not do anything else besides selling leathers, unless you're a VIP, I guess. But this will show them that you are actually here to shop, and give off less of a vibe of being a reseller, which is something that they really don't like. It also helps to bring your boyfriend or your husband, because generally, I mean, it's like shopping with a wife or wives, or no, one man with one wife, yes. Shopping with your wife is normal for a man, and so it just appears more natural. If you're going with girlfriends, that's fine too. So that's the flagship part. I feel like I've digressed so much. But talking about the other Paris stores, so that's George V. I don't remember which other ones. There's one across the bridge. I don't remember what that one's called. But anyways, I think there's 3 more locations or 2 more locations. I didn't do my homework before making this video, obviously. But going to any other Hermes locations in Paris besides the flagship store, the most effective way, and actually the only way that you would get a bag if you don't have an SA already, or even if you do have an SA, actually they are super strict these days, but if you don't have an SA, what you have to do is you have to go half an hour early. I've seen people as early as an hour earlier, before the store opens, and you have to line up outside. So yes, you better pray that it's not raining. You have to line up outside, excuse me, and you have to essentially wait until the store opens. I remember the George V one opens at 9:15. I was there at 8:30 that day. I was the 4th in line. And yes, I already have an essay, but that doesn't mean anything. If you don't line up or don't have a leather appointment made, you can't get a bag. Well, unless obviously you're a VVIP, which I would assume you wouldn't be watching this video if you are. But most of us normal folks aren't, because we're just normal people. And so what happened to me was I was the fourth in line that day, and when the store opened, essentially what happens is we enter the store and they would pair you with each sales associate. And so basically it's almost like a matching game, and the sales just line up on the side, and then you enter the store and they just go, okay, you go to this client, you go to this. For me, I screamed very loudly, not screamed, but I said very loudly, I'm looking for, X. He's my sales, and he just so happened to be standing right at the door, and so I just went directly to him. And yeah, that was my sort of start of the day. And then it all started from there. He showed me the bag and all. But I have heard that even if you don't see your essay when you enter the store, you won't be able to say, I want a specific person. I think my essay had a little bit of pull because he worked for Hermes for 40 years of something really long. And so he was a very senior staff at the store where, people are kind of like, yeah, his clients are probably like, well, just leave him alone kind of thing. So, now that he's gone, I'm having to deal with someone new, and I'm rebuilding a relationship, and it's extremely difficult. And especially because I don't get to travel as much now, I'm starting a new job. So, anywho, after you see an essay, or after this line of people entering the store, after all the essays have been paired with clients, they will start taking reservations or appointments with the increment of half an hour. So every half an hour, there's one set of customer, or actually no, one person, which they will require your passport. So if you're two people that are looking, like your group of, let's say, two girlfriends, you're both wanting a bag, that means 2 appointments. So I think the store opens for 8 hours a day, something of the sort. So like they would take 15 to 16 appointments a day. I could be wrong, but either way, so it's an increment of half an hour, and so they only take one every half an hour until the end of the day, and they don't take any other leather appointments. So when you enter the store, if all the appointments have been booked up, you won't be able to buy any bags that day, unless you have a great sales associate, which then you wouldn't be watching this video again. So that is extremely tough. I do recommend, if you only want to invest one day out of your trip to do this, go early. Don't go at 2 p.m. and be like, hey, are there any appointments? Even if there are appointments, there are likely no bags left, unless maybe you want a garden party in a specific color, then there's a chance. But if you're looking for a quota bag, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be pretty hard, if not impossible. So yes, that is sort of my experience with purchasing and shopping at Hermes in Paris. Again, my experience has been wonderful because of my essay, and I've heard different stories, very contradicting stories of their experiences or my friends' experiences in Paris, mostly due to the salespeople and perhaps the way the system works, or this updated system that they're trying to put in place. Don't try to game the system. if you're booking an appointment at the flagship store, use consistent information. Like if you have, let's say for me, I have a Chinese name and I have a English name, don't try to, you know, use different ones every day, because it's all based on probability. If you booked it 3 days in a row with the same name and same information and you didn't get it, if you go to the store and you tell the hostess, I booked it 3 times or 3 days in a row and I haven't received any single appointment, I'm leaving tomorrow, please help me, they will help you. But if you book it for 1 day and then you go and they're gonna be like, no, try it again tomorrow, so don't waste your time doing that. But yes, I think do buy something small beforehand so that you have some sort of record in Paris, or in the European system anyways, or not in the French system anyways. I think it's connected also. I've shopped in Monaco, and I think the Monaco system is connected to the French system, even though, anyways. So yes, that is my rent and my experience. I don't know how helpful it is. I've just had so many girlfriends that have asked me about it, and I mean, I can talk hours about it. So, I mean, if there's anything that you feel could help your experience, obviously, and of course, things are changing very fast with Hermes because of the demand and of the market. So, I am not, like, what I say is all based on my experience of dealing with them up until early 2020. I purchased this bag in the summer of 2019. So whatever else could have happened or could happen in the future, I can't speak to that. But so far, this is my experience. Again, if you have any questions that you feel that I could help with, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will do my best to answer. And if not, have a great day, and I hope you will all succeed in your Hermes hunting. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Wow, I get to say that.